Hi everyone, it's Jayne from SeeJayne Stamp. This is the project I'm going to be showing you how to make today. Actually, I'm making 60 of these there for my mom's Christmas card. So what we'll be using today is Emerald Envy cardstock. We'll be using Presents and Pine Cones Designer Series paper. It's actually on the year-end clearance rack right now for 30% off at $7.70. Some red glimmer paper that I punched into stars, some cherry cobbler cardstock, some whisper white cardstock, Emerald Envy ink, and cherry cobbler ink, along with a regular piece of computer printer paper. We'll also be using the Peaceful Pine stamp set, your Stampin' Up bone folder, Tombow, multi-purpose liquid glue, some glue dots, and some snail, along with I think this is an H block, yeah, an H block and a D block, which I've already mounted my stamps that we'll be using on today. So let's get started. I can pull all this stuff out of the way. First thing we're going to do is take our trimmer, our Stampin' Up trimmer, and we're going to score our Emerald Envy cardstock. This cardstock measures 8.5 by 11. We're going to score it at 4. We're going to use the scoring blade. That's the lighter color blade on your trimmer. And we're going to score it at 4 1/4. And then we're going to cut it at 5 1/2. And that's going to give you 2 card bases. The next thing we're going to cut is going to be our Whisper White cardstock. And that measures 2 3/4 by 2 1/2. You can actually get 12 of these. This is what we're going to stamp our image on out of one piece of 8.5 by 11 paper. Again, we're cutting it at 2 3/4 by 2 1/2. I'll leave a link in the description below for a cutting calculator that I use all the time. It's marinastic.com, I believe, but you'll see it in the show notes below. Then we're going to take our cherry cobbler. You can also get 12 pieces out of this 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. We're going to cut it at 2 3/4 by 3. And that's what we're going to use to mount our stamped image on. Okay. And then I have some designer series paper. This is half a sheet. I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4. Cut it down to 5 1/4. Okay. Then you're going to have a 1-inch strip that you can use to embellish another project left over. And then we're going to cut that by 4. And that's going to be the backer on our Emerald Envy cardstock. So let's get the trimmer. Oh, one more thing. We need a piece of computer paper. Okay, so I'm going to use a piece of standard printer paper for the inside of my card. Because we're making so many, I'm going to trim that down to 8 1/4. One of the things I like about the Stampin' Up trimmer is this rail that makes you make sure that you've got your cards stock straight. And this printer will get you all the way out. This trimmer will get you all the way out to 15 inches. So we're just going to cut a sliver of like a 1/4 inch off that piece of computer paper. And then we're going to swing it around and trim it down to 5 1/4. Okay, and that's going to be our inside piece. So now that we're done with the trimmer, let's get that out of the way. And the first thing we're going to do is take our card base and fold it in half. We're going to crease it with our bone folder to give it a nice edge. And there's our card base. Then we're going to take our designer series paper and we're going to add it to the card base with some Tombow multi-purpose adhesive. I love using this stuff to make cards with when I'm making lots of them because it's easy to use, and no matter what the temperature is when you're mailing your project, it's not going to fall apart. I've had people call me up and tell me thanks for the puzzle I got in the mail when I was using snail to back my cards with. So anyway, next thing we're going to do is take our white piece and we're going to stamp our image. So I'm going to take my stamp, which is already mounted. That's on a D block. I'm going to open up my Emerald Envy ink. I'm going to ink my stamp up. Tap, tap, tap. I'm going to take a look and see if I got good coverage. Let's do another tap, tap, tap. Looks pretty good to me. I'm going to use my Stampin' Pierce mat for my photopolymer stamp because it needs a little cushion to get a great image. I actually left the plastic on so I can wipe it off should I get ink on there. I'm going to center it on towards the bottom, the tree base towards the bottom, and stamp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks good. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. We're going to add it to our base. I'm going to close up this ink pad so I don't get it green ink all over everything. Okay, and while we're stamping, let's stamp our inside piece. So I'm going to take that piece of printer paper, fold it in half. I'm going to ink up my stamp. This time we're using cherry cobbler to coordinate with it. That's one of the great things about Stampin' Up. All the colors in the paper, you'll see that there's Whisper White, Emerald Envy, and cherry cobbler in the paper, so that's what I'm using for my project. I'm gonna, oops, look what I did. I got red ink all over that. Red ink is a killer. Yep, I always keep some baby wipes handy just for that reason. I need another piece of computer paper though. I'll cut it real quick. Oh no, I don't. I don't need another one. I can cut one of these down. I already did. All right, so we're going to fold that in half. We're going to ink up our stamp. Tap, tap, tap. And then I'm going to just center it in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, the photopolymer stamps, they really need this cushion with the Stampin' mat so you get a clear, sharp image. That looks pretty good. So there you go. So let's put our pieces together and get rid of this. We're going to add our stamped image. Again, you always want to add your adhesive to the back of the smaller piece and use it to mount it on your backer piece. Gives it a little dimension. It's just easier to do it that way. And then I punched some red stars earlier out of some red glimmer paper. I'm gonna adhere that to my card with the glue dot. And how I do this to make it really easy is actually put the star on the glue dot and pull it up off your roll, and it makes it a lot easier. And then your stars are ready to affix to your card. Okay. Then I'm going to take this, and again, X marks the spot, and add it to my card base. I'm going to center that up. Looks pretty good. Star's a little crooked, just to give it a little turn and a press. Okay, and we're good. And add my centerpiece. Okay, let me teach you a trick about this. So I just put my centerpiece in here. Oh look, I got Emerald Envy ink on that one too, but that's okay. I'm going to take my snail and just make a little tick so it sticks. Put it down, and there you have it. My mom has a spot to write her message. This is the one I made earlier. And then I also made several variations on this theme. Because I'm making 60, I needed to use all the different variations of the presents and pinecone paper. So here's some more that I made. I used the same card sketch, and this one I turned it the other way and just turned the sentiment on the inside the other way too. So thanks for stopping by today. If you'd like to make this project, be sure to look down below for all the dimensions, and you have links for all the supplies in my Stampin' Up store. Thanks for stopping by. Happy holidays and have a great day.